Alongside the Teal Mask came quite a few buffs to all the Pokemon. Krookodile is one such Pokemon with said buff, but will it be enough to win us the game? How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're going to battle versus Ad from the Discord server in the OU tier. Looking at the team, they got some threats. They got the Cinderace and the Zarude. Zarude is nice to see. That's always nice to see. Haxorus is always really cool to see as well. So they got a pretty mixed team, as do we. So I'm looking at the matchup and I'm thinking they might lead off with Landorus or Cinderace, just to get that nice U-turn off, or Stealth Rocks in Landorus's case. I think I might lead off with my Slowking because it matches up pretty well against the whole team. I don't think they'll lead with Zarude, but I mean, they might. They might. There's always a possibility. So I think I'm going to lead off. Then I could just lead off with the thing that's faster than everything, which is Dragon Ball. I think I'm going to lead off with the Slowking, and then if they do go Zarude, I'll just switch out into something else. I don't think they lead with Zarude though. And the battle begins. So Ad's going to lead off with Nabi, which is the Cinderace, as we lead off with Drip Queen, the Slowking. So, not a bad matchup by any means. We can definitely take any hit this thing wants to throw at us, and then we can just go for a chilly reception, get the snow up, and get out of there. That's what I'm leaning towards right now. Get a bit of momentum going. They do go for the U-turn, which is great, because it is neutral on me, and it's their weaker move that they have. So it's not going to do as much damage as it didn't. Slowking is going to tank it like a champ, and then we can just chilly reception out into whatever we want. In comes Zarude. Very good switch. That's definitely one of the Pokemon on the team that friends my Slowking. But we're going to get on out of there because why not? Boom. Tell a really bad joke. Make it snow, because that makes sense. And then we're going to go ahead and switch out. So I think my best Pokemon to go into, which is going to hurt their team a lot more, is going to be Scizor. Because if this thing's Choice Scarf, for example, we're not going to outspeed it with Dragon Ball. So I think Scizor is my best option here, which is why I'm going to go into it. We'll just go for a U-turn real quick, and that should be able to take out the Zarude. Also, if they switch out, we get a bit of U-turn momentum going on. So they go for a U-turn of their own. They don't stay in a knockoff, as you wouldn't, because you don't want to get hit by a U-turn. They are Life Orb, which is good to know. They're not going to outspeed our Dragon Ball anytime soon, which means Dragon Ball should be in theory the fastest Pokemon on the team, because most of the Pokemon on the team aren't typically run Scarf. They can be run Scarf, but they're not typically. So in comes whatever that is, which is going to be the Landorus. So Landorus comes and gets that Intimidate off, which is fair enough. Are they Rocky Helmet as well? That's the real question. So they are Rocky Helmet, which is good to note. Now, this thing doesn't get knockoff anymore, so I'm actually pretty confident in going into my my Dragon Ball here and going for a Draco Meteor, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Dragon Ball can come right in, just drop a Draco on this thing's face, and then just go from there. I think I will just drop Draco straight away. They have like no switching other than their Slowking, which can chilly reception, but you know, it's what it is. So we go for a Draco. They couldn't really afford to go into Slowking because if it wouldn't even kill. We didn't even get the KO. They go for a U-turn now. But the Landorus is extremely weakened now, which is great because Landorus is obviously a big threat. So Dragon Ball did its job. It punched some holes in the team, which is always nice. Let's see how that plays out for the rest of the game. In comes Zarude again. So we know we outspeed Zarude, but we can't KO it with -2 special attack even with choice specs. So we're going to have to switch out once again. Now, I'm thinking about what to go into. I'm thinking Scizor is probably the best option. So I'm going to go Scizor. I know Scizor can take a knockoff, no problem. We can definitely take a knockoff with Scizor. I think Dragon Ball is going to be really important in this game, though. We need to weaken that Slowking for it, but other than that, it's going to be really important. So they do go for a knockoff. It's going to do a lot of damage, knocks off our Punching Glove, and also gets some chip damage on them. Now I'm just going to go for a BP, just to get as much damage on this Zarude as possible. And the idea is basically that I want to get back into my Dragon Ball, and I want to be able to freely go for a Shadow Ball to KO this thing. As that doesn't do nearly enough damage, they go for a U-turn, take out Scizor, and we get some momentum on whatever they're going to bring in next. So Scizor didn't go down in vain. Without the Punching Glove, the Bullet Punches didn't do enough damage. But, you know, we can come back to that later. Zarude goes back to Ad, and let's see what they bring in. In comes Nabi again, which is going to be the Cinderace. So Cinderace is in, the snow has stopped. I'm wondering what we should do here. I'm leaning towards Krookodile for the Scale Shot. Because now, but then again, they've got the Zapdos just like sat there doing nothing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make the Milotic play here. I think Milotic is the best Pokemon to go into. It's physically defensive. We can take any hit this thing wants to throw at us, even if he wants to go for a high jump kick. and we can just go for a flip turn real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and flip turn now. They do U-turn as you would expect. We're going to get some nice and powerful Rocky Helmet chip on them, which is always useful. And then we get to flip turn on whatever they bring in. So let's see what they bring in. Hopefully it's like the Zarude or the Slowking or something, because they're good for bringing in Dragapult. In comes their Slowqueen. Nice and powerful Slowking. Not shiny though. We go for a flip turn, get a bit of chip off on the Slowqueen, and then we're going to go back into something else. And I'm leaning towards Krookodile once again. I am leaning towards Krookodile once again to get a nice and powerful fat knockoff on this thing. I don't think they stay in against us, that's for sure. That is for sure. So, with that in mind, we could also go into Electros and go for a knockoff. Electros has less switch-ins. I think I'll save Krookodile for later, and I'm going to go into my Electros. So let's go into Electros real quick. There we go. Nice and powerful. And then we'll go for a knockoff just to get rid of the item and also get some nice damage off on the Slowking. Because they're probably... Oh, they have a berry. They have a... What is it? Colbur Berry. So we're going to knock off nothing right now, as the Colbur Berry weakens the attack. They go for a Future Sight. Okay. Okay, that's how it's going to be, is it? That's how it's going to be. So, knowing that they... I'm going to go for another knockoff, because they're probably going to Chilly Reception anyway, so I want to get as much damage off on it as possible. As that still does a decent chunk of damage, you know? They tell a chillingly bad joke called Chilly Reception, make it snow, and now they're going to get on out of there and go into another Pokemon. In comes Zarude. Nice and powerful Zarude over there. So I have got a couple of options. I can Volt Switch here, I can Flamethrower. I think I'm going to Flamethrower. They go for a Jungle Healing? What does that do? Is that just a recovery move? Looks like it. Only recovers a little bit though, as we go for a Flamethrower, and that's going to easily take them down to Red Elf. So we get the Future Sight attack, but we are Assault Vest, so we can take it like a champ. Now I'm going to go for another Flamethrower. I have no reason not to. Electros is kind of standing up to my opponent right now, and they can't really touch it, which is amazing. They kind of need the Haxorus's Outrage to take us out. So they go for a Power Whip. That's going to definitely hurt and takes us out. Electros doesn't go down. It doesn't get to do anything much this game. It got some damage off on the Slowking, which is nice. And it also technically took out the Zarude because of recoil. But is that going to be enough to warrant the loss of it? I think so, because Cinderace takes out with Power Ball. Zapdos walls it. Landorus can't really touch it. But we can't really touch Landorus. Slowking we can knock off. Yeah, I think we're fine. I think we're absolutely fine here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go into the Dragapult. And they go into 4, which is probably the Zapdos, right? Yeah, the Zapdos comes in. So I've got a couple of options here. I could go for a Draco Meteor and get some damage off on this thing. Or I can switch out into my Ground type. I think they go for a Hurricane or a Roost. Or something along those lines. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Slowqueen. I'm just going to go into Slowking real quick, because Dragapult obviously doesn't match up well in this instance, because if we U-turn, we're going to get staticked, which is just annoying. And you don't want to slow Dragapult. And I also don't think we take it out with Draco Meteor. So they go for a Volt Switch, expecting the switch, which is absolutely fine. Now they can bring in the Landorus if they want to, and just kind of do a lot of damage to us. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to switch out myself into my Milotic, but I would still rather not be in that situation. In comes Iris, which is going to be the Haxorus, right? Yeah, I was going to say Iris, the champion from Unova. Nice. So they're going to break the mold, which is absolutely fine. They probably go for a Dragon Dance here. If I had to guess, they would go straight for a Dragon Dance. So we really need to go for a Future Sight right now. We really need to go to a Future Sight. If they're Terastal, though, it's not going to matter. That's very frustrating. So we have got a good option. We're going to go for the Chilly Reception. So they do go for a Dragon Dance, which is absolutely fine. I'm just hoping they're not Scale Shot. Really hoping they're not Scale Shot right now, because that would be frustrating. So we tell a chillingly bad joke, knowing they were going to go for a Dragon Dance. And we can just go into Krookodile now. So there we go. Going to withdraw our Slowqueen. And we're going to go into our Krookodile. What are we going to? We're going to this thing. We could go into this thing and go for an Ice Beam. Or a Flip Turn or a Scald. I think Milotic is our best bet. We have got the... we need to know if they have Scale Shot or not. Because if they have Scale Shot, it's all over. It's all over if they have Scale Shot. So the snow is going to stop, which is fine. I'm going to go for an Ice Beam right now. They probably expect a Scald as they go for the Outrage. And we don't even live that. We're physically defensive and we don't even live that. That is just crazy. That is crazy right there. That is really crazy. So, okay. Knowing that they are locked into Outrage, we have to go Crook now. That's the only way we can get around with. We have to go Crook. We have to Dragon. We have to Terra Dragon. I know that makes us weak to Outrage, but Outrage is KOing us anyway. We want to get more power from the Scale Shot. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to Terra Dragon Scale Shot. Pretty much. So there we go. Terra comes through. Hopefully they don't Terra the next turn. But I'm pretty sure Krookodile outspeeds Haxorus anyway, so we should be faster the next turn. So even if Scale Shot doesn't KO this turn, I'm pretty sure 2 Scale Shots should KO. I'm pretty sure 2 Scale Shots should KO. So they go for an Outrage. Obviously, it's going to take us down to our Sash. We go for a Scale Shot, and now Ad's probably wondering why we don't have a load of dice. And that this is why, because I found the Focus Sash so much more useful on this particular set. So the Scale Shot, unfortunately, isn't enough to 2-hit KO. We do get 3 hits, which is great, and we take out the Haxorus. So Haxorus goes down, which is great. Absolutely fantastic that Haxorus goes down. Absolutely fantastic. And there we go. We get a defense and speed boost as well, which is going to be really clutch. We also get the Moxie. You know, Moxie's really good to have as well. In comes whatever that is, which is going to be the Landorus. So Landorus comes in, gets that Intimidate off, which is unfortunate, as we can just go for a Scale Shot now and finish this thing off. Which means Krookodile might actually be on the thumbnail this game because it's doing really well. Scale Shot comes through. They avoid the attack and go for a U-turn. Did we just miss Scale Shot? Are you kidding me right now? We missed Scale Shot. That's going to cost us the game. What on earth just happened? I can't believe that. Because we had that in the game. We had that in the bag. If we could have got the KO on the Landorus right there, we'd have got the Moxie back to +1. We would have taken out. I mean, Zapdos puts a stop to it, but it's not fair, man. That's not fair. So I'm going to go Slowking. Going to go into Slowking. I think Slowking can probably handle this. So we'll go into Slowking real quick. And we'll set up a nice and powerful Future Sight just to attack them with. They go for a Discharge, which is going to do minimal damage. Doesn't get the Paralysis, which is nice, as we go for a Future Sight. Now we can just go ahead and spam Sludge Bomb, which is pretty much my game plan. So they probably Volt Switch into their Slowking right now. In which case, I might be better off going for a Chilly Reception here. I am going to go for a Chilly Reception. And I'm going to go for a Chilly Reception because I think they're going to Volt Switch and go into their Slowking. And I just kind of want to go for a Shadow Ball with Dragon Ball and just spam Shadow Ball. So, Volt Switch comes through. Volt Switch comes through. So this Krookodile buff in Scale Shot is amazing. But we missed the Scale Shot. And that's just kind of... oh dear. Oh dear. So there we go. They do go into the Slowking. We go for a Chilly Reception. Get on out of there with the Snow Up as well. And I'm going to... well, I have to bring my Dragapult in. That's pretty much all I can do. So, Dragapult it is. Dragapult it is. And we just got to hope they don't have Thunder Wave on them. So, we'll bring the Dragapult in. There we go. Now, the Slowking is already weakened a little bit, but I don't think Shadow Ball KOs. So, I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball anyway. They do withdraw. And they sack off. Is that Landorus? Yeah, Landorus comes in. So, Landorus is getting sacked off, which is fine. We go for a Shadow Ball. That's going to do minimal damage. But it does mean the Future Sight doesn't hit anything, which is unfortunate. So Landorus goes down. And there we go. I'm assuming... wait, is the Future Sight in the next turn, maybe? So in comes 4, which is the Zapdos. So we've got a couple of options here. The Future Sight obviously is not going to work now. We go back into Slowking, I think. Slowking can obviously take any hit from the Zapdos, no problem. And we've just got some health back with Regenerator as well. So along comes the Slow Queen, which is always nice. Wait, am I not regenerating or something? Like, what's going on? Why have I not got my health back? Why did I not have my health back? Is this not a regenerator Slowking? Why was my health so... Curious Medicine. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm so glad this is the last battle with this team. Because I really didn't put Curious Medicine on. I really didn't put me Future Sight on that Regenerator. That's really annoying. Really annoying. How could I do that? I can't believe I did that. So let's go for a Shadow Ball. Let's just go for a Shadow Ball. Get some damage off on this Zapdos. It's nearly a 2-hit KO. They go for a Hurricane. They hit the Hurricane. Despite having like no accuracy. And they don't get the Confusion, which is nice. So let's go for another Shadow Ball. And hopefully we get a high roll and can take out this Zapdos. So we go for another Shadow Ball. and take it out. Okay, we got a high roll. That's nice. So that makes up for the scale shot miss. And it also makes up for the regenerator mishap on my Slowking, because that is just unfortunate. In comes Nabi, which is the Cinderace. So Cinderace comes in. We just go for a Shadow Ball. If they have Sucker Punch, they have Sucker Punch. They don't have Sucker Punch, so Shadow Ball might actually KO here, which would be crazy good if it did. Doesn't quite get the KO as they go for a Pyro Ball and take us out. And that's going to be the game. So, unfortunately, they get a crit, which doesn't matter. Unfortunately, thanks to no regenerate on my Slowking, I'm missing a crucial scale shot. We have lost this game, but at the same time, my opponent played really well, and I think it could have gone either way regardless. So, GG ad, I really enjoyed that one. Thank you for the battle. But anyway, here is the team. If you want to try it out, use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.